I think that's what's most exciting about tonight is instead of it being in a relatively contained space.
The studio system used to run Hollywood like a fortress.
I think, Paul Greengrass gets at the heart, of so many incredible, humanistic situations and
massive, immovable, and guarded by executives who decided what got made, who got paid, and who got credit. As a filmmaker, you were often just a piece in their machine. You directed what they told you to. You accepted the budget they gave you. You got paid when and if they said you could. But that system is crumbling. A new class of filmmakers isn't just playing the game. They're rewriting the entire playbook. They're not waiting for permission. They're claiming ownership, negotiating equity, and turning creativity into long-term wealth. This is the story of three of the most powerful disruptors in the game: Ryan Coogler, Jordan Peele, and Greta Gerwig, and how they've flipped the Hollywood model on its head. They're not just making movies, they're building real wealth. And in doing so, they're proving one thing beyond a doubt: the studio system is dead.
I just wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of information on how we made the film.
Ryan Coogler exploded onto the scene with Fruitvale Station, earning critical acclaim for his raw, human storytelling. But it was Black Panther that launched him into global superstardom. The film didn't just shatter box office records, it positioned Coogler as one of the most bankable and visionary directors of his generation. But instead of chasing traditional studio prestige, Coogler made a bold pivot. He co-founded Proximity Media, a production company that allowed him to control the narrative, literally and financially. With Proximity, he didn't just direct projects, he owned the platform they were built on. Then came Sinners, his boldest, most calculated play yet. For Sinners, Coogler negotiated one of the most filmmaker-friendly deals in modern cinema. First dollar gross participation, he gets paid from the very first ticket sold before the studio recoups expenses. Final cut authority, no studio interference, what Coogler says goes. 25-year rights reversion. After 25 years, he owns the film again, giving him control over licensing, streaming, and legacy earnings. This wasn't just another movie deal, it was a blueprint, a masterclass in how to convert creative power into generational wealth. Jordan Peele took a modest $4.5 million budget and transformed Get Out into a box office juggernaut, grossing over $255 million.
I wrote the movie with a different title in mind. I had different things I was trying out. When I hit Nope, it just made sense because the movie, it's not even it's like a concept.
Wide. But Get Out wasn't just a horror hit, it was a cultural earthquake. Peele used suspense and satire to unpack racism in a way that was both terrifying and thought-provoking, proving that genre films could deliver social commentary and massive returns. What made it even more impressive? Peele did it under the banner of Monkey Paw Productions, his company, his terms. Every creative and financial decision ran through him. Hollywood noticed. Universal stepped up, offering Peele a 5-year, $50+ million deal to produce exclusive content. It was one of the most lucrative deals ever offered to a writer-director at his stage. But the real win wasn't the money. It was the freedom. Peele kept full creative control. He greenlights the stories he believes in, handpicks the cast, shapes the tone, and retains a stake in the profits. He didn't just ride a wave, he built the board. He didn't sell out, he scaled up. Jordan Peele didn't just reinvent horror, he owns the genre now.
I had a big Leonardo DiCaprio obsession.
Really?
I was like the perfect age for both Romeo plus Juliet and
Thank you for using the plus.
The plus.
Yeah.
He's totally mixing it up on William Shakespeare.
Greta Gerwig went from indie darling to a billion-dollar box office force, and she did it on her own terms. With Barbie, she didn't just direct a hit, she co-authored a cultural phenomenon. More than just a film, Barbie became a movement, and Gerwig was at the center of it, shaping not only the narrative but the marketing, tone, and creative direction. The catch? She wasn't just behind the camera, she was in the boardroom. Gerwig co-led the strategy alongside Mattel and Warner Brothers, ensuring the story stayed aligned with her voice and vision. Her work has always carried weight. Lady Bird and Little Women proved she could combine heart with sharp, intelligent storytelling. But now, her films don't just reflect meaning, they reflect market power. Barbie grossed over $1.4 billion globally, placing her in a league with the most commercially successful directors of all time. And she's just getting started. Gerwig is now signed to direct The Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix, a move that signals her rise as a world builder and franchise leader. She's showing the industry that female-led, values-driven filmmaking isn't just respected, it's profitable. Investors, studios, and global audiences are all paying attention. Greta Gerwig isn't just making films, she's building a brand. And everyone wants in. Once upon a time, the Hollywood studio system was the gatekeeper, kingmaker, and power broker all in one. If you wanted to tell a story on a big screen, whether you were a writer, director, or producer, you had to go through them. They controlled the funding, the marketing, the distribution, and ultimately the careers of everyone in the business. But today, that system doesn't rule the game anymore. It's still present, but it's no longer supreme. The modern filmmaker doesn't have to beg for green lights. The studio is now just one of many platforms, and if you know how to negotiate, it becomes a resource, not a ruler.
A shot from the opening of our film centers. This is the same shot shown captured on IMAX film format, just 15 perforations.
Ryan Coogler isn't chasing gigs. He's creating his own lane and owning the intellectual property that comes with it. He's building wealth that outlasts box office weekends. Jordan Peele isn't waiting for a yes from an executive board. He's greenlighting his own vision, choosing projects through Monkey Paw Productions, and producing films that resonate on his terms. And Greta Gerwig? She's not just directing because she fits a trend. She's leading studios into billion-dollar territory precisely because of her distinct voice. Her storytelling isn't tolerated, it's in demand. These filmmakers aren't trying to get a seat at the table. They're building their own tables, designing the blueprints, and then leasing out the chairs. They're negotiating for more than a paycheck. They're locking in backend profits, long-term equity, licensing rights, and the kind of creative freedom that money can't usually buy. Because in today's film industry, it's not about fame alone. It's about freedom. Freedom to create what you want, freedom to own what you make, and freedom to win on your own terms. The director's chair is no longer just creative, it's executive, it's equity. If you're building wealth through creativity, take notes. These filmmakers didn't just master storytelling, they mastered value. The studio system may not be dead for everyone, but for Coogler, Peele, and Gerwig, it's obsolete.